Hello, coolers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to the home of everything Barcelona, where we are going to be discussing on the latest as usual. We start with Marcos Alonso, as it has been reported that the Barca fullback's contract will be extended until 2024 if nothing strange happens. We are going to be discussing on that as we move ahead. Then secondly, talking about Ferran Torres, as it has been reported that Xavi has no doubt about the Barca forward despite a slow start to the season. We are also going to be discussing on that. So guys, as we get ready to it in more detail, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Barcelona left it very late in the transfer market to seal the signing of Marcos Alonso, even though they had an agreement in place with the Spanish fullback for quite some time. The 31-year-old Spaniard had agreed personal terms with the Blaugrana very early in the summer. However, a move had stalled first due to Chelsea's demands for the player and then due to the registration issues for Barcelona that they were facing. Eventually, Alonso's transfer went ahead after he terminated his contract with Chelsea and joined Barcelona as a free agent. But to everyone's surprise, he had signed only a one-year contract with the La Liga Giants, even though previous reports had indicated he would be penning a two-year deal. Now, Spanish outlet Sport is reporting that even though Alonso signed a one-year deal, Barcelona will go ahead and extend his contract until 2024 if nothing strange happens over the course of the season. Both Alonso and Hector Bellerin signed only one-year deals due to some last-minute financial fair play issues. However, in case of the former, Barcelona have already agreed with the player that another year will be added to his contract unless something drastic happens. Alonso made his debut for Barca coming on as a substitute against Cadiz in La Liga last weekend. Following that, he was thrust right into the starting 11 for the UEFA Champions League clash against FC Bayern Munich, ahead of the informed Alejandro Balde and captain Jordi Alba. Alonso, barring the mistake in the lead up to Lucas Hernandez's goal, put on a fine display at left back, dealing with Leroy Sané while also providing a decent attacking outlet. The report adds that Alonso was signed in order for Xavi and Barcelona to use his experience in the big games, like the one against Bayern earlier this week, and that will continue on for the next season as well, as he is expected to renew his contract for another year. Alonso is quickly adapting to life to Barcelona. Of course, he played against Bayern, started a game, even though some Barca fans were surprised why Xavi had to start Marcos Alonso in that game when Alejandro Balde was available. Of course, it was a clear indication that Xavi will be preferring Marcos Alonso, especially in big games, when it comes to, selection. And I don't know if he thought that Balde was still inexperienced for the Bayern game. Maybe that was his own reason why he did not start Balde. But nonetheless, Alonso had a decent game. There was no complaint, to be honest. I had no issue with him in that game against Bayern. So talking about his contractual situation at Barca, to be honest, at first when he came on deadline day alongside Hector Bellerin, Barca signed them just one-year contracts each. And it came as a surprise, because even though there were some talks even before Alonso came to the Camp Nou talking about the fact that he would sign at least a two-year contract. So this report is saying that Barcelona have already spoken to Alonso and they have already assured him that his contract will be extended to 2024, except something drastic happens. Maybe things can happen within this season, I don't know, but Barca have already given that assurance that his contract is very likely to be extended, but nothing has been said about Hector Bellerin, So let's see how their performance will look like. I think normally if these two guys perform so brilliantly in their respective roles, I think Barca will add it even more. Hector Bellerin's own contract surely will be added if he performs well at right back. But now in the kind of season that we're even seeing Xavi preferring Jules Koundé at right back than a natural right back of Hector Bellerin, it's funny to see how as the season goes by, it's funny to see how the selection will be, who will be there at the right back most of the time. Because it seems as though Xavi is, trust Koundé at the right back slot than anybody in that team. I think Koundé will even play that right back more than Sergio Roberto, who have been the right back for many years for Barcelona. But let's see how it goes. Things will change. The depth of the squad is quite impressive, and Let's expect a lot of rotations. Xavi even told the players before the season started that they all should expect rotations, and that is why everybody needs to be highly competitive if you want to guarantee a starting berth most of the time. So even though I don't think Xavi is still he have not really gotten that first best 11 yet, but it's very important he do, so that whenever we are going for a big game, we know the kind of player that we are likely to expect on the lineup. So let's see. Alonso, let's hope that they play well. Even Hector Bellerin, if they can perform well, I think Barca will really increase their contract, because let's not forget the 1-year contract was not because of no reason. Issues of financial fair play, especially on that deadline day of the transfer window. That was the reason why Barca had to make the contract term very, very short, just to put it for 1 year, because it could have been very complicated. Then moving on to the next story of discussion, Ferran Torres arrived at Barcelona in the January transfer window earlier this year amid much fanfare. The former Valencia ace was brought in from Manchester City for a fee exceeding 50 million euros and was tipped to be the future for Barca's front line. And even though the forward has shown glimpses of his ability, I think he's here to fully shine and live up to the expectations that were placed on him upon his arrival. Torres ended last season with 7 goals, right, and 6 assists from 26 matches for Barcelona. But the arrivals of Robert Lewandowski and Rafinha, coupled with a contract renewal of Ousmane Dembélé, have meant that the Spanish international has dropped down the pecking order. Why, it has affected his game time and in turn his rhythm. Torres has failed to make the most of the chances that have come towards him. Indeed, in 6 appearances in all competitions with 2 starts, he has scored and assisted just 1 goal each. But in spite of his poor start of the season, manager Xavi Hernandez has no doubt about the 22-year-old forward and continues to bet on him. This claim comes from Dario Sport, who stated that the Barcelona head coach has faith in Ferran Torres and values Torres for the physical aspect of his game, which helps the team maintain pressure on the opposition high up the pitch. Xavi has started Torres in the games against Sociedad and Cadiz and opted to bring him and Ansu Fati in the match versus Bayern Munich when Barcelona were trailing and in search of goals. It shows the level of faith that Xavi has placed in the former Manchester City forward, and there is a good chance that Ferran Torres could get the nod when Barca face Elche tomorrow Saturday. Should that materialize, the 22-year-old must take his opportunity and start delivering. With Fati, regaining fitness and sharpness, and Memphis Depay also waiting in the wings, it is important for Torres to start producing the goods, or he could risk falling further down in the attacking line at Barca. So guys, with that we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.